Edward Lively. He is commemorated as one of the best linguists in the world. He was a student and afterward a fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge, and King's Professor of Hebrew. He was actively employed in the preliminary arrangements for the translation and appears to have stood high in the confidence of the king. Much dependence was placed on his surpassing skill in the Oriental tongues, but his death, which took place in May 1605, disappointed all such expectations and is said to have considerably retarded the commencement of the work. Some say that his death was hastened by his too close attention to the necessary preliminaries. His stipend had been but small, and after many troubles and the loss of his wife, the mother of a numerous family, he was well provided for by Dr. Barlow, that he might be enabled to devote himself to the business of the great translation. He died of a quinsy after 4 days' illness, leaving 11 orphans, destitute of necessities for their maintenance, but only such as God and good friends should provide. He was author of a Latin exposition of 5 of the minor prophets, and of a work on chronology. Dr. Pusey of Oxford says that Lively, whom Pocock never mentions but with great respect, was probably next to Pocock the greatest of our Hebraists. John Richardson. This profound divine was born at Linton in Cambridgeshire. He was first fellow of Emmanuel College, then master of Peterhouse from 1608 to 1615, and next master of Trinity College. He was also King's Professor of Divinity. He was chosen Vice-Chancellor of the University in 1617 and again in 1618. He died in 1625 and was buried in Trinity College Chapel. He left a bequest of £100 to Peterhouse. He was noted as a most excellent linguist, as every good theologian must be, for, as Coleridge says, language is the armory of the human mind, and at once contains the trophies of its past and the weapons of its future conquests. In those days, it was the custom at seats of learning for the ablest men to hold public disputes in the Latin tongue with a view to display their skill in the weapons of logic and the dialectic fence, as the ancient knights delighted to display and exercise their skill and strength in running at tilt and amicably breaking spears with one another, so the great scholars used to cope with each other in the arena of public argument and strive for literary masteries. Those scholastic tournaments were sure to be got up whenever the halls of science were visited by the king or some chief magnate of the land, and the logical conflicts, always conducted in the Latin tongue, were attended with as much absorbing interest as were the shows of gladiators amongst the Romans. On such an occasion, when James I was visiting Cambridge, an extraordinary act in divinity was kept for His Majesty's entertainment. Dr. John Davenant, a famous man and afterwards Bishop of Salisbury, was respondent. His business was to meet all comers who might choose to assail the point he was to defend, namely that kings might never be excommunicated. Well did Dr. Davenant urge the wordy war till our Dr. Richardson pushed him tremendously with the example of Ambrose, the famous Bishop of Milan, who, to the admiration of the whole Christian world, excommunicated the Emperor Theodosius the Great. Here was a poser. King James, who was always very nervous on the subject of regal prerogative, saw that his champion was staggering under that stunning fact, and to save him, cried out in a passion. Verily, this was a great piece of insolence on the part of Ambrose. To this Dr. Richardson calmly rejoined, a truly royal response and worthy of Alexander. This is cutting our knotty arguments instead of untying them. And so, taking his seat, he desisted from further discussion. The mild dignity of this remonstrance, in which independence and submission are happily combined, presents him in such a light as to constrain us to regret that this detached incident is about all we know of the personal character of the man. We can readily believe that he was a wise and faithful as well as learned translator of the Book of God.